Hello, this is Problem Games. Today I will be talking about Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and how they shafted some of their loyal fans when they released Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 the way they did. I managed to dodge getting shafted because I was unable to buy Marvel vs. Capcom 3 when it first came out due to some complications in my life. But that did not stop my friends who were super excited about the game to get shafted by this. The specific problem that happened was that when they created Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, there was no way to upgrade Marvel vs. Capcom 3 into Ultimate. And because Ultimate is just a bunch of background changes, and not really any foreground changes besides the new characters, it was really hard to justify buying this game unless you were a really big hardcore fighting gamer, which several people aren't. Now, while I understand that releasing these games the way they did was a lot easier for them because of how many background changes there were, it does not change the fact that several people were unwilling to pay the cost of the upgraded version because it was equal to the cost of buying an entirely new game. And if you just had some sort of DLC that was even like half the cost of the game, I feel like they would have increased the number of people that purchased it. Currently, I am suffering from an issue where I have not gotten either of them because I am afraid to buy Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 in case they come out with Ultimate 2 or something named along those lines, where they have 13 newer characters to the series, and I will feel like I just got gypped out of the game again. I'm quite frankly just going to wait until the game has been out for so long that there cannot possibly be any more they release for it. And quite frankly, this upsets me. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was my favorite fighting game that I have ever played, and I've played a lot of fighting games. And quite frankly, the fact that I can't play the sequel to my favorite fighting game because I'm afraid to get it because they are releasing characters the way they are is a shame. I would love to support their company, but the problem is the way they are marketing this game, I cannot justify buying it. I can only hope that later on down the road they will release a version of the game where they will guarantee that they will not release any more characters unless they are released as DLC, which I can justify. And I don't see a company ever being willing to make that guarantee because they might feel they need to make these changes again. Quite frankly, the thing that outrages me about this the most, though, is the fact that if this game was a PC game instead of a console game, I don't see how the company would have gotten away with this whatsoever. As a console game, I can see that sending out patches on this scale would have been substantially more difficult, and making a new disc to release these games would be substantially easier, and that seems fairly straightforward to me. But if this was a PC game, adjusting things like character damage, or even the fact that you can now activate X Factor in the air, isn't that hard of a task on a PC patcher. People that release games on Steam do this sort of thing all the time, and the fact that there is this double standard in gaming between console and PC games is wrong, and quite frankly, the company should not have released this information the way they did. All the updates for Marvel vs. Capcom 3 should have been free with the exception of the new characters. Then the most they could have charged for this game if they just did release the characters as a DLC would have been a third of the cost of the original cost of the game, so about $20. But seeing how the game was instead released as an entirely new game, they charged substantially more, and I'm not convinced they put that much substantially more work into the game to justify the cost they wish to charge. Well, that's my rant for this week. I'm sorry it's substantially shorter, but the complaint for this game was fairly straightforward. This is Problem Games, signing off.